It's been about a full year now since I moved into the forest and the A-frame cabin, and about 3 or 4 years since I've been documenting my life and this journey. And over the years I've gotten some questions and never had a chance to really sit with them and respond and give clarity. So I compiled the ones that were the most recurring, especially now living at the A-frame. There's been a whole new wave of questions, and I thought today we could go through a day here in the mountains together and talk through them, chat a bit, and I think that'll be really fun. I haven't heard a woodpecker in a while. I actually think if I sit here long enough, I'm bound to see some deer because they are so prevalent around here and in the yard, and I see droppings. Such a good feeling to rise with the sun. I'm about to head into my office and start filling orders for the day. Before I do that, I'll either make a matcha or a cappuccino. I've actually been trying to drink a little less coffee, so the matcha is really nice. A tattoo tour. It was interesting to see how many people were curious, so I'll do a quick one. The very first tattoo that I got is on my right arm, and that's my lavender tattoo. My aunt did it for me, so it's cool because no one else in the world will have the exact tattoo, and I wanted to start with something different. The reason for that you can probably guess has to do with my small business, which is called Lucid Lavender right now, but we'll talk about where that's going next. Lavender was the first herb or flower that got me into this field, dealing with aromatherapy and plant medicine. The next tattoo I got is on my left arm, and it's the Speak No Evil, See No Evil, Hear No Evil monkeys. I remember my dad showing me or introducing me to this a long time ago when I was a child. Kind of revolves around living your life in a positive mindset, say, for example, avoiding falling into gossip or looking for negative things in the world. I just really value that. This one was another custom one. I went to a woman and showed her these stone, ancient, kind of creepy looking monkeys. I didn't want just basic monkeys, and so she did a mock-up and we put them on. The next ones are on my wrists. I got them together at the same time. Memento Mori and Amor Fati. Memento Mori essentially means remember that you die, so you live each day to the fullest, and Amor Fati is love of fate, so no matter what happens, trusting that it's for your highest good. About a year ago, one of my childhood best friends passed away, and I was listening to a lot of Stoicism principles around that time, and Memento Mori kept coming up in my head. That felt very real, so that pushed me to get these. After that came my Egyptian eye, the Eye of Ra, and my grandmother passed away last year as well, and she had the same tattoo in the same spot. She did palm readings. I heard that she was actually invited to Egypt way back for a convention about that, and I just grew up loving all things Egypt. I had this book called Egyptology. I was fascinated by it, just the ancient world. The Eye of Ra, there's two that swivel different ways, the Eye of Horus, the Eye of Ra. Eye of Ra is the feminine counterpart, so intuition, healing. My next tattoo is behind my ear. It's a crescent moon. Sometimes I call it my croissant moon, because when we went to Paris for the New Year's, Kyle and I got into a tattoo shop kind of last minute. It was up in the air if it was going to work out or not, and I had been wanting the crescent moon, but then that night when I came out of getting that tattoo, I looked in the sky and it was the exact moon phase. It is a waning crescent, And the last one for now is on my right foot. Got that in Key West this year, and it's a wave for the ocean. I just realized I skipped one. I have the Om symbol on my arm as well. And so the Om symbol and the eye, the Egyptian eye, are both regarded as talismans, which are symbols of good luck. But also I could probably go on and on and on about the Om symbol. If you're very curious, look it up, but it has to do with the creation of the universe, like the universal sound. Each section has a different meaning, and this is just something I've been intrigued by, honestly, since I was a child. Truly, most of these orders are for my bug spray because it just went live again, and it's that time of the year. So we've got a lot of the same bottles to do, which makes the process go quickly with that muscle memory of wrapping. Will I release a book? And the answer is yes, I would love to. If you asked me this question 2 or 3 years ago, I would have told you that hands down a cookbook would have been #1 because I love taking whole foods and making delicious meals. Over the past couple of years, I've realized is that I think what's more aligned for me at this stage in my life is a book about making things like salves and balms and sprays, all the stuff that I make every single day here in this office. I'd love to give out basic recipes. So let's put these on while I answer if I get bored living in the woods. It's not like I live so far away from my friends that we can never see each other. Just is a bit more of a drive, which, you know, can be a hindrance. Truly, despite looking at my past and how often I would surround myself with people, as long as I can remember, I actually have really liked and cherished my solitude and time with myself. I don't really get in a weird funk when I'm alone for a long time. I actually thrive on that. You know, people my age might be at the bar scene and partying or clubbing, late nights, so on and so forth. Truthfully, I feel like I've already exhausted a large part of that out of me because when I was in high school and college, I was a different person, like worlds different. I really liked to live a wild lifestyle back then with partying and drinking and smoking and being with people 24/7. I always felt like I had this sort of unique blend that I didn't see a lot of other people in my grade have, where I was consistently, honestly, I would get in trouble a lot and I would be out doing crazy things, but I was on the National Honor Society, I had a job, I got straight A's. I feel like I've always kind of liked the work hard, play hard balance. I really embrace where I'm at right now. I love I never really feel bored. I have a lot of work with the house, I have work on my small business, and nature brings me so much joy. So if I was to feel like I needed something to do, I will go out and have fun in the woods. I love being in the woods. Next step is to go order by order, and I like to write a thank you note to everyone because genuinely I still have to pinch myself sometimes. I can't believe I get to help people through the creations that I make, and I like to just express that gratitude. If I had an unlimited budget, what would I renovate first? I think if I had an unlimited budget, I would go for the kitchen first because I'm in the kitchen all the time. I'm in the kitchen cooking, I'm in the kitchen whipping up infusions, and right now I really don't like our kitchen. This layout is atrocious, especially if we are hosting people. We cannot be all hands-on. I mean, it's functional right now, but I can't wait to put butcher block in, add more plants, open it up. It'll be so nice. This question was quick. It was, how tall am I? I'm 5'6½". I'm one of 3 girls. I'm the oldest, and the middle child is at least 5'9", and the youngest is a little shorter than me, but we're all taller than my parents. Okay, this is such a weird spot. Let's just pretend that you guys are my bag of things that I am bringing to the post office right now. So you're loaded up in the back seat. Another question that a lot of people had was, what are the renovation plans for this place? Because if you've been here for this journey, everything needs to be redone, truly, all of it, both for being functional and aesthetically. There's a lot of work. So what's the order? What are we doing? When is it going to happen? We haven't done much yet besides outside things. We built our 20 by 30 garden to start growing more of our own food. I redid my office. Kyle did the driveway here and the drainage. And I do have a video that goes through the whole house, what it looked like when we moved in, if you're interested in that. While it's still warm out, we're going to tackle a patio area and the front porch. We don't need to redo the front porch, but we'd like to get it set up better to hang out on and host people. Maybe by the cold season, we will put a roof on our house. We have a roof, but redo the roof. There's no insulation under it right now, so add that. Then I think this winter we will tackle the basement, which will be insane because that's a whole floor we can't even use right now. We have to redo the balcony. It's rotting on the one that comes out of our bedroom. But the plan is take it easy, don't rush anything, stay steady, keep getting things done, but just be intentional with it, do it the right way, enjoy the process. Got a bit of acreage, turning some of that into farm. There's so much to look forward to, so much to come. So if you're new here, welcome, you're right on time, and look forward to sharing all of this. Beautiful conditions right now to tend to the garden with a couple removals I have to do, and then I'm in this phase where I have harvested a lot of things and there's bare space, so I want to put some seeds in, give everything a bit of a watering, deal with the cabbage moths, worms. It's a twice a day daily battle. Organic gardening is so much more work and involved than I thought, but next year I'll use nets, and I've been reading about diatomaceous earth. I can see that there are cabbage moths in the garden right now, so I'm not going to look that direction anymore. Do I see beekeeping in the future and homestead plans or goals in general? Bees are a huge, huge, huge yes from me. We would have had them right now, but turns out what we've been working on has been much more involved, and when I was reading about how the process works, I need to do a lot more prep than I would have guessed, and I needed to start that well in advance, so the timing didn't work out this year, but next season, chickens and bees and maybe a couple others. But with the bees, then we'll have our own honey, we'll help be able to pollinate our own vegetable garden here and flowers, and I'll also get beeswax for my products, which will be amazing. And then yeah, I'd love to do all of the farm animals over time, do it chunk by chunk and learn them and what they need instead of rushing all into it at once. Things like sheep, I am going to be able to shear them and get the yarn and make clothes, but also in the process of cleaning that, you get a byproduct called lanolin, and that's an amazing moisturizer, and I use that for some of my products too, so it'll just all work out and will be centralized here. Really, really looking forward to that. We want to make fields, we want to have meadows, we want to be able to do our own hay, so all in good time. Step by step we'll get there. We're definitely ambitious in what we want to do, and the sky is the limit. I'm definitely open to acquiring all of the skills. Hey there. I just remembered this one because I walked through a patch of long grass on my way to the hose, and people are really curious about the tick situation here and if it's bad. What do we do? Yes, I understand the severity of Lyme disease. I actually spent a majority of my life so scared of it that I would not go in a field or any grass longer than an inch, and once I stopped fearing them like that, yes, you get the occasional tick. I might get a couple one week and then I might go a month without getting one, but I check myself really regularly and wash off good. But let me tell you, like, the trade-off for me personally, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion and what they feel like they want to do, but I would much rather go out and run through a field at sunset and just have to check myself when I get home, then miss out on that and be able to forage in different spots and just not live in fear. I use my bug spray, I check myself, and I wash off, and things have been fine. People are wondering what books I would recommend for herbalism or plant medicine, and the first one that I ever read that was super digestible and fun and had a lot of different components to it was called The Modern Herbal Dispensatory. It has a great deal of information. It doesn't just go through and show you like this is the herb and this is what it's good for, though it does have that section at the end. It also tells you about different qualities and like categories of herbs and recipes, and yeah, I love it. I actually want to start from the beginning and just read through it again. I will also put a couple of my favorites on the screen right now. You can pause and look at the titles and the authors if you'd like to check them out for yourself. The next one was what it's like owning a small business, and for me, truly it feels like a dream come true. It's something I've worked extremely hard on and poured my heart into. It's my passion, but it's also so much more work than I ever could have imagined. So when you do own your own business, if you do want one or in the middle of owning one, you know that it has to be something that you truly care about, because it's going to kind of consume your life, but you will get that balance eventually, I think. But especially in these beginning years, oh my gosh. I'm the only person in this company, so I wear all the hats. I do the marketing, the formulations, the promotions, the packing and shipping off of the orders. I do end up working a lot of crazy hours, but I have so much fun doing it that it doesn't feel like work all the time. You have to be diligent with things like accounting and LLCs and trademarks and so on and so forth, and I did go to business school, so I'm grateful for that. I also come from a family where a lot of people do own their own business, so I've been exposed to that, and Kyle was also a huge mentor for me. Something I'm running into more as this herbal business grows is that YouTube can be and is a full-time job. I think the biggest thing that I struggle with is just time management with it all, and hopefully as things grow, I would love to hire my sister, who is in college right now, as an employee. She's really interested in becoming a part of what's going on. I'm not quite there yet. If there's one thing you take out of this, if you're thinking about starting something, this is your sign to do it. I would not go back to corporate, and I wouldn't trade this for the world. This whole entire bed is potatoes. I've got 2 varieties in here. I've mounded them up twice. They're getting tippy, so once they turn yellow though, that's when I'll start pulling them up, and so it should be pretty soon. I think it might be a little too loud with the hose right now, so I think I'll just go through and water everything, and then we'll go on to the next question. This bed here had a lot of different lettuces, so I replaced them with some more romaine because they come and go really quickly. There's a lot of blank space here, and I'm going to fill it with carrots. We eat so many carrots, and it'll be nice to have staggered harvests, since the bed in front of me diagonally also has carrots that are getting close to maturity. This question kind of made me laugh, but it's a valid question if you're new here. This must be from new people. Wondering if I can show how I make my organic goods. Yes, I love doing that. This is scattered throughout all of my videos, is making organic goods. So if there's something specific you're looking for, maybe type my name in and what it is. I try to put chapters on all my videos, so it should flag that specific video in the search and bring it up. For people who are just getting started, they want some tips. I guess if you go through these videos, you probably get a bunch of good tips and tricks and recipes, but you know, the books I mentioned are a great place to start. YouTube has unlimited free resources for any specific questions or projects you're working on. If there's an apprenticeship in your area, definitely join it. I'm actually in an apprenticeship myself right now to just further my local knowledge. Determine what kind of learner you are. Are you a reader? Do you like to be hands-on? I think with this stuff, hands-on is really good. Or do you like to just watch people do it? If you have space and the ability to have a garden, definitely do that so you can get familiar with the plants themselves that you're working with. I was mainly self-taught. I'm always a student. We're all students all the time. The biggest things are consistency, believing in yourself, not giving up. Genuinely, I must have tried hundreds of recipes when I was just starting off before I even had my small business, and then once I opened up my shop, I mean, I've tried, I've failed, you just fall down 7 times, stand up 8. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't take it too seriously. Unless you're ingesting something herbal, you do have to be careful with some things. You know, I'll let you in on a little secret. Just like I said, I would love to do a book. I see courses in the future, for sure, video courses on how to do things like make your own salves and balms and sprays and salts and candles and jewelry. Maybe even more things homesteading once I get more acquainted with it all. But hey, if you need to hear it from someone besides yourself, I believe in you. You got this, truly. You are more powerful and smart and capable than you could ever imagine. And everyone starts somewhere. People who are experts were once in the exact stage that you're in. You got this. Alright, carrots are in. For those who are really concerned about my feet, I think because I don't really get pedicures and get the skin shaved off all the time, and I'm always walking barefoot, my feet are okay. You don't have to worry. I can handle stepping on the rocks. I've got the compost bin filled up with an initial batch of wood chips and leaves, so now I need to add the greens. And these zucchinis here, these 2, I can't figure it out. They just aren't thriving. They're dying off. They're not producing. It's been like that for a full month. I've tried a lot of different solutions and monitored it, and at this point I have one very healthy zucchini. It's producing all we need for now, so I'm going to remove these and put them in the compost. Yeah, I am sad about it, but it is what it is, and maybe I'll grow some beets or radishes here. This might be a little tricky because they do get a little spiky. Oh man. Okay. Do I offer custom one-off products or bundles? Yes, and they're some of my favorite things to do. When I first started out, a lot of what I was doing was actually custom bundles. I've done things like edible things too. I did a memory bundle with tinctures. I have these vegetarian capsules, just the capsules, so I can fill them with herbs and spices too. I love putting together bundles, yes. If you're interested, just comment, we'll chat about it, or you can message me on Instagram. It's the same handle, just at Allie Marie Brown. Also, I have done full garden tours on my Patreon. Patreon is a place where I post exclusive content. So this is stuff you're not going to find anywhere else. Videos, photos, mindset practices, tips, tricks, herbalism, and also a place where you can message me directly and always get a response. And overall, it's just an amazing way to support and keep these videos going. The link's always below if you're interested. Seriously, thank you so much. Even just being here right now, I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think I might just do a video dedicated to a garden tour. Let me know below if you're interested in that, because I don't want to keep you here for another 15 minutes if that's not what you're interested in. But we've got a little bit of everything in here, and I'll kind of duck down and show you. The beds are really full. I don't know, I lost my clipboard with all the questions. I feel like I just keep misplacing it all day long. The tomatoes are starting to ripen, and oh my gosh, they're so good. Oh my, I just went back over there to grab another, and I have my first Roma tomato that's ripened. I'm actually going to be collecting more cabbage leaves and stuff, and kale that's been eaten to a point of no return to put in the compost, so tonight's harvest is mainly to go over in the compost bin and clean the beds up. Oh man, I just found 2 more. This is so exciting. Oh, okay. One more for in the garden is the rebrand that I have been kind of alluding to but never really diving into, and Lucid Lavender Co., my current business name, is going to switch to Lucid Organics. The timeline keeps getting pushed back because, like I said, I'm the only one hands-on with this, and sometimes I'll go through phases where I can't even work on it one week, never mind organize the photo shoots and finish the labels, but I am making good progress, so we'll see. So what comes with that is a brand new website. I'll probably keep my Etsy open for people who like that interface and are familiar with it, but I will have my own website. The products, some of them are getting reformulated, not necessarily pulling ingredients out, but putting more good stuff in it. After years of researching and discovering new oils and herbs and their benefits, I want to incorporate those in to make all of my products even more effective and powerful. There's this whole concept in the industry of having the shortest ingredient list, and I've totally thrown that idea away, because if your ingredients are good, I think if you want to put even more of the beneficial things in and have a long ingredient list, if it's all organic and of the earth, why the heck not make it even more strong and work better for people and more versatile? Like, I don't want to settle and only pick a couple ingredients and make it super easy for myself. Like, I want to be challenged to be supplying the best products, growing so much of my own stuff, and incorporating so many things. So new labels, new website, new name. I have not been taking care of my social medias for that, so I'd love to get that going and actually produce content and start taking it more serious, you know? At first it was kind of just this background thing that I was doing, and it's really become a major component of my day-to-day, and I want to give it the love it deserves. I cannot wait to show what's going on. And it's also not changing so much that you won't recognize it either. Like, the labels are still going to be on the same paper. I design everything, I print it, I cut it. I always joke around because anytime I have to cut a circle label, you can tell it's hand cut. I'm getting better though. Just cleaning it up and aligning it more with where I'm at right now and with the experience I've gained. And with that said, I'm going to start gathering stuff for the compost. Got a lot of garlic at the cabin, the off-grid cabin. It's not quite ready yet, but Kyle's mom had a really big harvest. These bulbs are nice, and I want to braid it and get it drying a little longer. Probably honestly plant some of these in the fall for next year. I don't have that much garlic, so I don't know if this braid is really going to be that nice. I really kind of just want to see if I can remember how to do it. Let's see. What is my backstory and how did I get into YouTube and learn to film and edit? I think this one is mostly asking like my career backstory. Oh, special visitor. Hello, miss. Hi. My background's in marketing. I went to a business school for marketing. I almost went for accounting. I'm very happy I didn't. So I did a couple internships, one at a local holistic food company, then sales and marketing at a news place, and then from there at the campus official store I was the graphic designer and marketing assistant. Did a couple other things too along the way, and I've also been a cashier and a dishwasher and a pizza girl. Then I got hired out of college in the pandemic. It was crazy. We were supposed to go on spring break my senior year, and we left, and then as soon as we left, the campus was basically like, don't come back, and we thought, oh, we'll have a week or two off of school extra, how nice. Never went back. I never had an official like in-person graduation. They might have hosted one now years later, I'm not sure, but I did graduate. As a fresh graduate, I got because of my background with a lot of internships and experience, I was hired in a leadership role. So I was a marketing manager at a dispensary, which was a new, growing, exciting field. Things had just been legalized. It wasn't just a retailer, we were also going to grow everything, make everything in-house, be multi-state, so it was a really fast-paced, challenging but good environment initially. I actually met one of my best friends there. I just lost my thought, and I lost where I was in this braid. Over time, people were starting to get promotions in their title and in their salary, and I never got one, even though I was one of the first hires, and I actually was just told to work harder and that I should be in the office at least 60 hours a week. And at 21 years old, I was essentially running marketing for a big like growing company, which in retrospect was kind of crazy. Good business experience, like networking and dealing with people and handling a lot of things at once and navigating stress. But once I started to see that my hard work wasn't really paying off there, started to get a little weary about it all. I was having thoughts about leaving. Around this time we were experimenting with influencer marketing, and Kyle and I grew up just a couple towns from each other. I knew about who he was. We went to the same high school, but not in the same time frame. Yeah, see, this one's loose, so it looks a little funky. It'll work though. Reached out to him and just asked if he would be interested in doing some work for the company. We had never met before, so we decided to meet up in person to talk about it, but we just never really talked about it, and we ended up hanging out every day. I really was inspired by him a lot, and I loved the lifestyle. I loved how creative he got to be. We got talking about it over a couple months, and yeah, I was honestly just ready to risk it all and start my own thing because I felt no more passion for my job in corporate. It was getting extremely stressful, and I was really intrigued by what Kyle was doing. So he's the one who taught me everything I know about filming and editing. I started on an iPhone, and I've worked my way up to a nicer camera and know how to color grade and edit now, which is nice. Not the prettiest, but I didn't have that many bulbs. How long does the process of filming and editing take? A full week at least, between filming and trying to balance filming and just living in general is an interesting thing. But yeah, filming, sometimes you have to wait for the good lighting conditions, things you wouldn't think of normally. And then depending on how much I have filmed, it'll take 2 or 3 days at least to edit everything. And then factors like if I'm going to put a voiceover in. What is it like being a creator? That's a loaded question. To summarize, it's nice to have your own freedom, but you also have to accept the responsibility that you are fully the one in control of your life, which I mean is true of everyone, but there's a direct relationship of the amount of hours and effort you put in with being able to sustain your life and not have to work a 9 to 5. As a long video creator, there's this ongoing stress where people want like the instant gratification of a quick 30-second TikTok or reel. So competing with that, I wouldn't even say competing. I mean, I do this because I love it, and yes, factors like the algorithm play in, but outcomes are they're irrelevant, but they're not. They're relevant because it impacts if you're able to continue doing what you're doing with the views and sponsorships and engagement, but really at the core of it, happiness doesn't come externally, it comes internally. As long as you are making something that you're proud of and having fun during it and excited about it, then you've already won, and any outcomes are just a benefit or a bonus. When the creativity gets stripped away and you're just trying to cater to an algorithm, then it's not really, what's the difference of that and a 9 to 5, you know? So I was watching this back and I realized that it would take quite some time to go over every single section. We'd end up in rabbit holes trying to talk about what life is like right now, and it's always changing in a lot of ways too. I think it sort of glazed over what life is like when creating videos specifically goes from this side thing that you're doing, and it grows and turns into this beautiful community and also a source of income that you rely on, especially if you are leaving a paying job that you were in before. Typically you would produce videos because you feel inspired to, and it's a creative outlet. But when it becomes your job and you take on things like sponsorships and have a community that is also relying on you in a sense, there is a pressure and there's real deadlines, and sometimes you will feel a creative burnout. You have to follow through on the things that you're contracted into. So that can be one of the difficulties, is if you're really feeling like you need some rest, but you've already signed yourself up for a lot of work. Sometimes it feels like it's one of those things that's a good problem to have though, because isn't this what I was working towards? Sometimes I'm juggling a lot. I will be filming videos and creating things for this platform, also for Patreon, and then doing a lot of hard hands-on labor in the background, caring for the things I have going on in life, working on my business and things like my rebrand, odd jobs to supplement if need be. I used to work for my grandparents a lot. And I also think it's a topic that's extremely hard to comprehend when you're not involved in the field, because honestly, when I first met Kyle, I was like, oh, this is the best job in the world. There's no cons. How could there be? And the truth is, I work more hours now, like I said, than I ever have before. But the key is that you have to enjoy what you're doing. So I want to reiterate that these are not complaints. I'm just sharing transparently some of the things that go on with things like deadlines and burnout and hours worked and juggling a lot of things at once to have a steady income. And I can't believe I forgot this, but you are basically inviting the world to have opinions about what you do with your life and comment on every little thing. Maybe it's about something in the video. They'll catch you if you did something slightly wrong if you're working on a project, or comments that people think are harmless may not actually be. Comments about looks or how you act. Yeah, people are ruthless, and you just have to know yourself and love yourself and not seek external validation, and sometimes just don't even read the comments, because it's that human thing where you could read 100 positive comments, but that one negative one could take you out for the day. So sometimes it's just, if you're not able to handle it, if you're not in the mood, it's better to just not read. And that's definitely something everyone online deals with. Also, privacy is something I have to keep on my mind constantly and have had weird encounters with. But I love that I have the ability to be creative in my day-to-day and chase my passions and share with you all. So like anything, it has its ups and downs and ebbs and flows, but I do really love it. You just have to keep on your own path and do what makes you happy and what's authentic for you. Are you and Kyle going to get married?
We have a happy, healthy relationship, and not really in a rush to involve paperwork. It just doesn't make a difference if we're married or not. We're happy together, so.
Right. Honestly, this is something that people comment about all the time, and I know that everyone means well by it. They're having fun watching everything that we're building together, and like Kyle said, marriage doesn't really change anything. It's just paperwork, and it binds you together legally, but we are completely comfortable with where we're at. Like, if we were ready to do that step, we would, but we have a lot of stuff going on in our life right now. We have huge projects, like the whole property here and the house. We kind of want to get a little more stable. We talk about it, and like we see it in the cards, but just not at this exact second is all, and we're happy. That's all that matters.
Yeah, when we get married, we're gonna have our own fields here and host the wedding here and have a huge celebration. So we got to build that first.
When are the children coming? We actually have 2 kids right now, technically. We have Harper and Mowgli, our little cats, and we're a happy family.
Kids is like the same thing as marriage. That will probably all happen around the same time. Want to get everything situated here and build a place that we can, like, yes, we could raise a family now, but the house is a mess. We're just not ready at all. I want to get things situated and be ready to provide and be there every day for the children and for each other. So that's a big part of holding off on everything.
And I love that there's this movement right now where people are saying that, like, throwing away the idea, these classical timelines, like, just because you're at a certain age doesn't mean you have to have achieved these things that society says. Like, if you're happy, that's the number one important thing, and it's your life, You're the creator of it, and just do what feels right. There's no rush. We're very content with things, and when the time is right, the time is right. What is my favorite part about living in New England? I'll tell you, it is a tie between my surroundings here. I'm just immersed in so much nature, the woods, the mountains, the rivers, the waterfalls, the lakes. And so with that, I feel really connected to the earth, which is super important to me. Just very accessible here. The other portion would be that I get to experience the 4 seasons to the fullest. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Every single one here is very different. There's things that I look forward to in each. In the winter, it's the cross-country skiing and the dreamy, cozy, hibernating feeling in the snow. Spring, the flowers. Summer, the adventures out in places like this and getting to tend to a garden. Oh, and foraging all the time. And then in the fall, the foliage in New England is world class. And you know, it's just, I feel so spoiled. I'm so grateful. I love where I live. I didn't always feel that way growing up. I think sometimes we want what we don't have, and maybe I thought that it was not the most exciting place here growing up, but the more I've matured and have found my passions rooted in nature, I wouldn't have a home base anywhere else. Do want to travel as much as possible though in my lifetime. Favorite forms of self-care. The basics are good for me. Drinking enough water, getting some sunlight every day, especially first thing in the morning so you can nurture your circadian rhythm. In the same breath as that, getting enough sleep, good deep sleep. I would say another form for me definitely is reading and expanding my knowledge. I love mindset books and educational books. Affirmations are a big one for me. Doing things that bring me real joy. Nurturing the relationship I have with myself and spending enough time alone, but also quality time with friends and family and Kyle and the cats. I do work out. Besides, like, I keep an active lifestyle, but I actually love weightlifting. I just don't have easy access to a gym. The closest gym is far away. Sometimes I'll get on a kick if I have extra time and go with my sister or something, but we are hopeful to have a gym in our basement once we redo it. I love running, skiing, swimming, walking, hiking. Really, the utmost crucial thing is to be kind to yourself, to have compassion for yourself and understanding, and to live and show up with your most authentic, genuine, true life and self. Because if you ever try to emulate something or mold to society's standards and things that they prioritize, you don't always feel real happiness and purpose. You are you, there's no one else like you, and it's a beautiful thing to embrace that, truly. And then the big one is, am I going to quit YouTube? Yeah, I think I am, but I shouldn't have worded it like that. Yes, but not yet. Right now, I feel like I finally fully understand what I'm doing here on this platform, and there's so much coming up with the homestead and the renovations, and I'm in my 20s, and I love being able to capture and compile these moments into memories that I can look back on for the rest of my life. So with so much coming up, I wouldn't just halt. I don't feel called to stop yet, but I just don't think that it's my lifelong thing, and that's okay. Whatever I feel called to do, I'll move in that direction when the time comes. I don't want to box myself in and say, this is what I'm hopeful to do, this is what I'm doing now, because who knows what the future holds. There's a lot going on, a lot could change, and my interests, we'll see where they go. I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can do with my herbal business and how I can help more and more people. Just like I was saying about how I love the 4 seasons here and how I always feel like there's something to look forward to with each season. You get excited for the next. I kind of feel that way about life and the seasons of life. I'm very grateful for this community. Thank you for being here. And with that said, I hope that you got clarity in things you were curious about, and if I missed something that you're just dying to ask or know more about, let me know. But those were the most asked, and I think it's time to go wash off in the river.